Welcome back to the doghouse. So I've got something very strange for me to do this weekend. I acquired from a friend recently. He had passed away a couple of years ago, and he had quite a collection of models and some books and some other things. But anyway, his widow had finally gotten to a point where she was ready to deal with his effects and a lot of the things that they had already sold and gotten rid of. And what was left, she asked me if I was interested in taking. So, yeah, sure, I would love to honor my friend and build some of his stuff. I think it'd be great. Well, a couple of pieces were very rare and interesting. One was a woolly mammoth that I put together last week, a very simple build. It's the old Revell Monogram kit. And this week, there is the T-Rex. So let's take a look here at Monogram's old T-Rex kit. It's a snap-together kit, but let's flip you around here and show you. This is a pretty good-sized monster we're going to be building here. So, a lot of painting. It's a snap-together, but honestly, I'm going to glue things together. You can see part of him was already assembled, so I'm going to have to go back, and I'm going to have to do some disassembly, some painting, and some reassembly. So, stick with us today, and we're going to build us a T-Rex. Apparently this is an old Aurora kit that was originally put out as a glow-in-the-dark or something like that. Anyway, it had several incarnations with Revell Monogram, and this particular one is the 1987 release. I was going to glue everything together, and I have. Wow, there were some gaps in this thing you wouldn't believe. In fact, to get it to glue properly, I had to use super glue in some places. And then I still had some big gaps. So I've used some filler to try and, even things out a bit. And I have, I've sanded these areas now that they're dry. Now my next step, I want to add a little bit of texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the xylene that I use, and I'm just going to brush that on this area here where I want to add texture. And the xylene will attack the plastic, and then what I will do is just kind of move my brush around, and what it does is it kind of etches into the plastic, and you can see on this arm here how I've done that, and I've added texture to it. Okay, so those are my next steps in trying to get this beast done. My first step in painting is going to take some just some gunship gray. That's a Model Masters gunship gray, and I'm going to load some of that in the gun with some lacquer thinner, which is what I always use. It causes it to flash off and dry a whole lot quicker. So I'm going to take some of that, and I'm just going to prime pretty much everything on this T-Rex. Now I am going to use it as a base color for the top side of this dinosaur. There have been a lot of different theories, and I call them theories, in the last 50 years about how these T-Rexes actually looked and the colors and whatnot. And the most recent is that they had feathers, and that they were very, very colorful. Just a bunch of different things. That, well, guess what? Nobody is alive. Nobody has a picture of a real one. And the cool thing is, this is my model, and I get to do whatever I want with it. So I thought about building it as Rex from the Toy Story movies. I thought that'd be kind of fun. But actually, I really want to do a nice artistic piece, at least test my artistic skills. And so I am going to give this one some color. But like I said, we're starting out with just gray, kind of a nice medium to dark gray overall. And then we will do something a little bit lighter on the belly, and we'll do some other colors up top. So stick with us, and well, let's see how this goes. Well, when it comes to painting this beast, we're going to do the underbelly in this Soviet sand that I have from Flowquill. It's a nice light color, and I think that'll be good for the belly. Because I want to put some color in him, I'm going to use some Purple Pearl. It's a color by Boyd. It's actually a Model Master acrylic, which is kind of interesting. And also this Model Master acrylic, this pink pearl, hot pink pearl. We're going to try some of that. And then this color by Boyd, I don't know what it's called, but it's kind of a teal color, so we're going to add some of that. And then we're going to do some highlights again with the Soviet sand. Next for our T-Rex, I've got a little bit of just Tester's Red, and I am going to start spraying around the edge of the mouth in this red. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back and add some white to get more of a pink color to do the tongue. But for the main part of the mouth, I want a nice glossy red. So there's the tongue, and we'll add a little bit of white to make that pink. Well, the Soviet sand looks pretty good on his belly. It's kind of a cream yellow, really light color, and I like it for the underside of a reptile. So here we start shooting some of the color on there. You can see the teal, you can see the purple, but I also added a green. I decided to use, it's a Burlington Northern color by Flowquill for their railroad line, and I think that adds a little bit to it. And I think the green really comes in handy in places like on the tail, and at the very tip I actually use some of that Purple Pearl, and I think it kind of gives it some good variation between the solid color and the camouflage on the body. I decided for on the scales down the back to start with a line of Purple Pearl in the middle, and then the teal kind of on the edge. And then I went down the middle again with the green, and then we did some little highlights, and well, you'll see how it turns out. I think, again, it looked pretty good. So what I'm doing here is I am highlighting the these panels on his back. I'm just kind of outlining them with a little bit of this Soviet sand. T-Rex a little bit of tartar on his teeth. So what I've done is I've mixed up a pink with a little bit of orange in it for the gum, and just to kind of give the gum a little bit of a fluctuation in color. Anyway, I've taken some yellow and put that on the teeth, as well as added a little black to the yellow, and tried to kind of put that around the bottom of the teeth. So hopefully this tartar look, I'll be able to pull that off. And so here's kind of the darker color, and this is how it looks when it's finished. So we'll see how it is when it's in the mouth. So now we're assembling the head, and I've glued everything together. I've got the teeth in, I've got the tongue in, I've got the eyeballs in, and man, look at some of the gaps that I've got to deal with here. So we're going to putty these up and then sand it and try and make it look decent. So here the head is assembled, and we have filled the gaps, we've sanded it, we've got it primed. I'm going to mask off the teeth and eyes, and we're going to start spraying color. Decided to throw one more color into the mix, and that is the little Tester's bottle of kind of a medium brown. Decided to make a stripe right down the middle of his belly. I also used some of Larry's bath water to kind of enhance the scaly portion of his underbelly. And here is our finished dinosaur. Looks pretty good. I did some striping on the head with that kind of a Purple Pearl and that teal color. I think it gave it a pretty decent look there. I also added some of that medium brown in some little splotches on the main body part to kind of give it a little bit of a little more of a camouflage color. For his eyeballs, I used a House of Color
product that was called Creamsicle as a base, kind of an orangey metallic. It was really nice. And over that, I used a color by Boyd. It was like a yellow pearl, as I recall. And then for the center of the eye, of course, semi-gloss black. And I went over all of that with some Future to give it a nice gloss. I gloss coated the entire model with Future. And then I used some of Larry's bathwater and went through and enhanced each and every one of the scales to kind of help them to stand out. And then once all of that was dry, I gave it a flat coat with some Tester's lacquer. To give you some idea of the size of this thing, there's my foot. He's actually bigger than my weenie dog. It's pretty funny. Good sized dinosaur.